Thank you for watching my video. My name is Mr. Charles Wenike. In this video tutorial, we are going to discuss all about fuse. You remember in our previous video, which I told you that I will also discuss on high voltage fuse, and that is what we are about to treat now. This is where we stop the previous video. But before I proceed with this video, I would like to say, if you like my video, please subscribe to my channel, comment, like, and thumbs up. Thank you. So let's proceed. In the previous video or last video that I upload, we stop at high voltage fuse, and which I told you that I will give you much detail or discuss on high voltage fuse in the next video. And this is the video that we are going to discuss much more about high voltage fuse. High voltage fuses are generally used in power systems and are typically rated for voltages above 1500 volts and up to 138,000 volts. High voltage fuses are used to protect transformers, either small power transformers or instrument transformers, where circuit breakers might not grant the protection. Now, what I'm trying to explain here is this. The high voltage fuse, mostly where it is applied, is either small power transformer or in instrument transformers, where a circuit breaker might not guarantee protection. That is where the high voltage fuse is applied. It's mostly applied in a voltage above 1500 volts and up to 138,000 volts. That is where the high voltage fuse is used. Now, in that case, the fuse element in high voltage fuse are made up of either silver or copper. Sometimes even tin is used. Silver or copper, but at times tin is used, all depending on the material that is available. But as for me, I prefer copper or silver. But I am not saying that this thing is not also good as well. But the one that I preferred is copper or silver. But I am not saying or discouraging you that the thing is not also good. The three of them, they are all preferable, all depending on individual or company as well. In order to provide reliable and suitable performances, that is the most important thing in terms of high voltage fuse. If you are to buy a high voltage fuse to replace the one that have burned or that have blown up, you should also consider if it is silver or copper or tin, so that you can see the reliability of the performances of the fuse as well. In that case, we also have in explosion type high voltage fuse, the fuse link chamber is filled with boric acid. We will also discuss types of high voltage as well. We will discuss it in this video. What I'm explaining here in terms of this explosion type high voltage fuse is that it contains in that chamber, it is filled with boric acid. I will explain to you in more detail in terms of this explosion high voltage fuse. The main problem of this high voltage fuse is that of the coronina. Therefore, the high voltage fuse have the special design. In terms of high voltage fuse is different from other fused that we have discussed as well. We have discussed various types of fuse. So what I'm trying to explain here is that the high voltage fuse, it has a special design that 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 you will use it to differentiate that this one is not used in low voltage or in any other area. That is why it is designed special as well. They are mainly classified into three types. In terms of high voltage fuse, they are classified into three types, and in that three types we will discuss it, each and every one of them in detail. So I want you to understand something here. The high voltage fuse have the special design. Remember what I have told you about other fuses. Each of them, they have their own different design as well for you to differentiate each from another one. So in high voltage fuse, it has a special design. So these are the types of high voltage fuse. We have cartridge type high voltage fuse. Remember what I told you about this high and HROC. It is high rupturing capacity fuse. So this one is also expulsion type high voltage fuse and liquid type high voltage fuse. So we will discuss each and every one of them in this video. First thing, we will discuss on cartridge type high voltage fuse. Now let's proceed with that. The fuse element of high rupturing capacity fuse is wound, as in is wound round, that is wound round in the shape of the helix, which avoid the coronal effect of the higher voltages. The reason why it is construct or formed in this highlands which is to avoid the effect of the coronal effect at the higher voltage, in case if the excessive voltage that is greater than the rating of that voltage, at least it will endeavor or try to prevent some issues in that particular transformer or in that place that is functioning. That is the reason why it is constructed or wounded in this kind of shape. It has two fuse elements. In this category, in this cartridge type voltage high rupturing capacity fuse, it has two fuse elements placed parallel with each other. It has two elements placed parallel with each other. One of the low resistance and the other one is for high resistance. Remember, the cartridge type high voltage fuse, it has two resistance. One is for low voltage while the other one is for high voltage. And in that case, how does the high and low voltage resistance and the parallel fuse bring the element, because it has two elements? How did they function, the lower one and the higher one? Now, the lower resistance wire carries the normal current which is blown out. The lower resistance, it carries the normal current which is blown out and reduce the short circuit current during the faulty condition. That is the function of the low resistance. The low resistance, I repeat, the low resistance wire carries the normal current which is blown out and reduce the short circuit current during the faulty condition. That is the function of the low resistance. Now look at it. The picture of cartridge type high voltage fuse. Example. This is how it look like. In case if you have not seen it before, this is exactly how it look like. These are the picture, the image of cartridge type high voltage fuse. Now we are to discuss on liquid type. Such type of fuse is filled with carbon tetrachloride, and sealed at the up and down. It is sealed at the up and down, both the top end and the bottom end. They are all sealed to protect the cap. When the faulty occurs, the current exceeds beyond the permissible limit. It means that when the faulty occurs, the current will exceed beyond the permissible unit. The permissible unit, from my own understanding, it means that it will exceed beyond the rating of the fuse, and the fuse element is blown out. That is what I am trying to explain. It means that if, for instance, the rating is 1500 volts and the current is beyond more than that 1500 volts, it means that the fuse of the element of that liquid will do what? It will blown out. That is what exactly what it means here. Now let me repeat it once again. Such type of fuse is filled with carbon tetrachloride and sealed at both ends, both the top and the bottom side. When the faulty occurs, the current exceeds beyond the permissible limit and the fuse element is blown up. Which means that if the current is more than the rating of the fuse, because each of the fuse they have ratings, if the current is beyond the rating of the fuse, what will happen is that the fuse element will blown out, so that it will protect the transformer, either the instrument transformer or the power transformer. Now in that case, the liquid of the fuse acts as an arc. Do you know that in this case, this particular leak type high voltage fuse, it has a liquid. It has a liquid. The liquid of the fuse acts as an arc. That is just the simple truth. The liquid inside of that fuse, it acts as an arc for the high rupturing capacity fuse. The liquid, because in this particular area it has fuse, so the liquid will act as an arc in that of high voltage, high rupturing capacity fuse. They may be employed for the transformer protection and the backup protection to the circuit breaker. Now what I'm trying to explain here is this: in this liquid types, it is employed. Remember, it has a liquid inside of it, and that liquid will do what? It will act as an arc. Simple. And in that case, it may be employed for the transformer protection and the backup protection to the circuit breaker. Just as I said, it is used from where I started from the distance and so forth. I said it is used where a circuit breaker cannot be functioned. So that is where you can see high voltage fuse will be employed. So in that case, in this liquid type, it is used in terms of transformer protection and the backup protection to the circuit breaker. Let's go to explosion type. Explosion type fuse are widely used for protection of feeders and transformers because of their low cost. It's as simple as that. The explosion types fuse are widely used for protection of feeders and transformers because of their low cost. It is developed for 11 kV. That is 11 kV means 11 kilovolts. And their rupturing capacity is up to 250 megawatts amp. This M stands for mega, while this V stands for megavolts amp. Such type of fuse comprises a alloyed open-ended tube made of is made up of resin bonded paper. At times each of the fuse, they have different way they manufacture how they are manufactured. Maybe the way they produce the other types of fuse which I have mentioned might not be the same thing that they produce or they made this explosion type fuse. Now these are the explosion types high voltage fuse examples. Look at the images or the picture aspect of it. In case this is how it look like. You see it in case if you have seen it anywhere, you should also record or remember that this is explosion types high voltage fuse example or the picture or the image. Now we are looking, let us go straight to this resettable fuse. Resettable fuse are also as self-resetting fuse. They are also called as self-resetting fuse. They can be used even after a short circuit 40 hours occur, even after multiple 40 without any Hensel of replacement. Without any Hensel of replacement. So in that case now, what I'm trying to explain here is this. These resettable fuse are also called as self-resetting fuse. It means that it can reset itself if there is any faulty. After all steps have done, the fuse will reset in self. That is just how it is. That is a simple explanation aspect of it. Now, the fuse element in resettable fuse is a thermoplastic conductive type. The fuse element in that fuse is a thermoplastic conductive type. And in that thermoplastic conductive type, it has what we call a thermistor with a polaric positive temperature coefficient. I repeat, the fuse element in resettable fuse is a thermoplastic conductive type and it contains a thermistor. I will explain much more about thermistor when I will treat resistor and so on and so forth. You will understand how thermistor work. It work with high current as well as it has positive one. It also have a negative one. But in this case, I am going to discuss with the polymeric positive temperature coefficient, which means that in this area it uses the positive the thermistor aspect of this. That is when we are, that is in terms of resettable fuse, which has a thermoplastic conductive type, and in that it contains a thermistor with a with a polymeric positive temperature. So in this case, it means that a resettable fuse, it uses a positive temperature coefficient. It's as simple as that. These are the resettable fuse pictures or example or the image. This is how it look like. This is exactly how it look like. These are another types. In case if you have not seen it before, these are the examples of resettable fuse types, fuse aspects. Now this is how it works. I will use one or two areas to explain how it works. Now this is how it works. Now it works in this way. If there is any faulty in the circuit, the current increases, and as a result, the overall temperature of the fuse increases. Which means what I am saying here is, if there is any problem in that fuse, the current will go up. And as a result of that as well, the overall temperature of that particular fuse will also go up. Since it has a positive temperature coefficient, just as I said before, the resistance of the fuse element increases with the rise in temperature. That is how it is. Assuming is negative temperature, the resistance will do what? Reduce. But in this case, since it's positive, the fuse element with the rise in temperature, there will be a rise, it's not a decrease, which is caused due to short circuit. I repeat, if there is any faulty in the circuit, the current increases, and as a result, the overall temperature of the fuse increases. Since it has a positive temperature coefficient, the resistance of the fuse element increases with the increase in temperature. And what causes it? Which is caused due to short circuit. That is just how it is. It is called due to short circuit. And this will limit the current in the rest of the circuit. And if the faulty is clear, after some time, the temperature drops and the fuse is reset to allow the normal operation of the circuit. This is how the resettable fuse, how it functions, and that is what I'm trying to explain here. And that is what I'm trying to explain here. Now, where can we, or where are we, do we see the resettable fuse mostly? We see it mostly in military applications or aerospace application as well. So it means that this resettable fuse is very important to military application or aerospace, because without this, I don't think that it will function the way it's supposed to function. Remember, in every circuit, if the fuse is bad, that circuit will not power down. If the fuse is bad, that circuit will not power down. For instance, in transformer, if that fuse is not functioning, that line of that it could be red line or yellow line or green line, then green line, depending. Let me just assume that is a red line. If the fuse of the red line is bad, it means that that particular phase will not get light. So that is how it is. including in our laptop, in our television set, in our desktop, and so on and so forth. If the fuse is blown up, that laptop, that desktop, that television will not power on. Thank you once again for watching my video. Please, if you find my video useful, subscribe to my channel, comment, and like. See you in the next video. Thank you.